Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Witty Chatterbot Show. And for you guys that don't know, WITTY acronym is for Women in Tech Empowering Everyone. You have tuned in with Carmen Murray and Jessica McIndoe, who are coming live from the Bohemian suburb Melville. So I'm just over to Jess. I don't know, but you've got the most difficult last name in the world. Please explain to me how to say this properly.
Well, it's McIndoe. It's Irish with a small C at the top, but I normally get Ngendu. Apparently in Zulu it means the noisy one, so we are in the right space for that.
Well, that is awesome. Okay, guys, so for those of you who didn't tune in last week, our show is aimed to keep you updated with the latest trends, digital case studies, and set you and your brand up for success. We will be featuring some industry movers and shakers, maybe unpack some new technologies. Yes, we definitely will. And insights from leading local and global conferences. We will also celebrate women in business, learning about their journeys and sharing valuable lessons in order for you to take some of those learnings and progress forward in your careers. We are very honored to have the legendary, drum roll, Daniella Louwon, a courageous tech fundi in the house. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Legendary is quite a big word.
Listen, I'm Afrikaans, but I'm really going to try and step up on those big words, eh? So did you manage to brave the traffic on the way here?
I did. They're doing all kinds of wonderful things in Joburg, I see. So, yeah, it took a while, but I'm here.
You see, Dan comes from Pretoria, so she kind of needs a passport in order for her to come this side. So we've packed a little picnic bag for her. No, I'm just joking. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Daniella Louwon holds the position as the Managing Director of IMDM Pty Limited. Now, this company partners with many brands in Africa to ensure that they are relevant in the life of 2020, switched on consumers, and with using cutting-edge technology like augmented reality, virtual reality, and holograms, and much more. I think there's not an end to all of these new technologies. And today we're going to chat about her career, tech, and the lessons that she's learned in her career, and have a bit of some gamification in the house.
Worried about that bit.
So excited. It's going to be so much fun.
If you guys stay tuned, Jessica has actually prepared a little 30-second game with some very hectic questions for Dan.
Sure.
And we are going to have a little bit of laughs at the end. So, Jess, over to you. Maybe you can start off the interview with Dan, and then I'll hop in just now.
Oh, awesome. And thanks very much for making it all the way here to sunny Melville.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, no. So it's awesome to have you on the show. Just really wanted to share like the secrets of success. So empowering people so that they can be successful as well. So I thought it would be really nice to start out with sort of what was sort of your most interesting job that you've had and done.
To be frank, I think my most interesting job is probably what I do right now. I love and live what I do. So I think everything that I've had up until this point has been in training on how to handle yourself when you actually love going to work.
Note to self, have to love what you do.
Absolutely.
Yes, be passionate. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And will you share maybe a little bit about what your typical, as soon as you love your job so much, what your typical day would actually look like?
Sure. I think if I was to give you the rundown of my typical day, I'd probably bore you and your listeners to tears. I think it's not about what you do on a daily basis necessarily. I mean, running any business is about your operations and the nuts and bolts, which as much as fun as it is, it's not really where the glamour lies. I think what we need to do is maybe step back from our jobs every day, maybe once a day when you get home, maybe once a week, maybe once a month, maybe even once a decade, and have a look at what you've accomplished in that time and what you've managed to do in that time. I don't think it's necessarily about having an awesome, exciting experience every moment of the day, but I think when you look in the context of your career, the kinds of things you've been involved in, the kinds of things you've done, that's where the excitement lies.
Oh, no, awesome. So talking about the context of your career and where you've actually come from, if you look back to how you've gotten to where you are now, is there something that you may have done a little bit differently to speed up the process to get to where you are, or you know?
I don't think I would say I'd do anything differently. I think, look, being an entrepreneur, and especially in the tech game, there's a lot of failure. You try things, you invest in things, you believe in things, you put your all into something, and you wake up one morning and it's fallen flat on its face.
Yeah.
So one has to be prepared for that. And I think instead of letting it knock you down, it's got to teach you the lessons of what might work next time around. So I think there's been a lot of that. Obviously, with failure comes products that then do work and are successful. I think, if anything, what I would suggest to anybody who's starting out here is we live in Africa. We need to apply tech to an African environment and to an African landscape. And I think a lot of people are often quite keen to go and find what's the next best sexy thing overseas and bring it here and expect it to work. And it doesn't. I'll tell you for nothing for free.
Sure.
It doesn't.
Totally agree.
Yeah, so you've got to understand the local landscape. I think do your research properly in terms of who your target market is, what our own social challenges are, and how we can apply that tech to our social environment as opposed to just here's a tech and paste it on and use it.
Yeah. And just further to that point, like one of the things that I always preach to my clients are, you know, if you see inspiration from other countries, assimilate it, then innovate and adapt it to your own market, and then you elevate it and take it to the next level. And I think that's where many people go wrong. It's like we always just want to do all the sexy stuff, and we are forgetting that we live in a very diverse market, and we need to make sure that our strategies make sense for those particular consumers.
Exactly right.
Exactly.
So I'd probably start next time around with that research and those kind of learnings before you apply the tech, as opposed to bringing
Definitely.
the tech first.
Yeah.
The tech is there to enable the idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Exactly. And this is Africa. It's a different ballgame in its entirety.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Africa, a lot of people thinks, listen to me, a little bit of Afrikaans coming through there. But it's okay.
Dis welkom in Pretoria, hoor.
Luister, lekker by die see, hoor hoe blaf jy haai. But just further to that point, I think that it's absolutely paramount that, you know, we realize that Africa is not a country, and that every single country has different needs and requirements and infrastructure and building strategies that suit those markets.
Absolutely.
No, for sure. So that really leads then, you know, talking about how Africa is a different ball game and being successful in tech. So how would you say sort of your unique background that you have and your learnings along the way have actually set you up for success within this environment?
I think unique background is probably the right words. I'm privileged to say that I come from a very long line of entrepreneurs who have been part of some of the biggest iconic South African brands and either invented them or ran them at some point. And I think growing up in a household like that, where you're surrounded by people who are constantly asking the question why, and how can we solve this problem, as opposed to living with it, and who fight every day and who have the kind of work ethic to get up in the morning and be entrepreneurs and solve a problem, as opposed to, as I say, live with it. I think growing up in a household like that was truly a privilege, is a privilege, and puts you ahead of the game in the sense that you question things. From day one, I was questioning things, and I was saying, what do we need to solve these problems? What kind of tech, like we were saying just now, it's not just about the blanket approach. It's about let's find what the problem is and find a technology that's going to solve that issue. So I think my background in terms of where I grew up and where I come from put me in good stead for that.
Yeah, awesome. So basically, if you've got the will and you've got that spirit of entrepreneurship, and you can see that there's a problem that you want to fix, is really your starting ground.
You've got to want to see change happen and be part of it. I think that's the point.
Yeah.
That's a very powerful thought. We should actually tweet that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very true.
Yeah. And then, did you always know that you wanted to be in tech? Was it a burning desire right from the beginning, or is it something that you worked into?
That's a story all by itself. So I see we're going for an ad break. I'll save it for just now.
Okay. Right, guys, we'll see you shortly. We're just going for a quick ad break.
brandlive.co.za.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.beastdownmedia.co.za.
Harnessing the power of talk radio. brandlive.co.za. Making a bold statement yet blending into the surrounding suburbs of Melville, 27 Boxes is a realization of edgy design and practical implementation. A radical departure from the shopping malls of our generation, yet not a return to the high streets of our youth. 27 Boxes showcases the best of a shopping centre set in a garden, surrounded by the bohemian suburb that is Melville. 27 Boxes, shop, play, eat.
Welcome back to Witty Chats About Show. This is Carmen Murray and Jessica McIndoe, and we're on the company of the legendary Daniella Louwon, sharing the secrets to success as a woman in tech. So you guys were on a question. Maybe you can just rehash that and ask it that we can get the answer.
Yeah, we've been waiting and waiting. You had time to think there. So I think just before we went to the ad break, it was really around, did you know from the beginning that you wanted to be in tech, or did you find that out a little bit later?
I didn't. I absolutely didn't. I thought I was going to be a game ranger or a lawyer. That was kind of...
Oh, wow. I'd be scared of you if you were a lawyer. Game ranger even more. My God, with a gun.
Yeah, no, how it really happened is I think I was at the first year of varsity when my dad started the Daily Sun newspaper. And that was a really, really exciting process because he was sitting on our stoep a lot with it, poring over his business plan, trying to get investors and trying to get somebody to believe in the fact that we needed a mass market newspaper. Mm-hmm. And it really perked up my interest in terms of media and the workings of media and mass media.
Sure.
And I watched him during that process launch this, what is now an iconic brand. And within the first year, there was this kind of energy around that newspaper and in that newsroom. And I decided, right, I want to be a journalist. So I went and studied journalism and media studies and presented myself to him one morning and said, right, so here I am. I now want to work for you.
Wow.
And he looked at me as if I was mad. And he said, why would you want to work for me? And I said, because this is the most exciting thing to happen to media in the last century in Africa, and I want to be part of it.
Oh, wow.
And he said, no. He said, this is my generation. He said, newspapers are my generation. Digital and technology is your generation. You need to go and understand.
And he did this after you studied your degree?
Yeah, well, it was all part of it, I suppose.
Okay.
But he said to me, you need to go and understand technology and how we apply it in a media environment, which I then did and came up with a social media strategy, which I didn't know was a social media strategy at the time, about how to take Daily Sun into Facebook environment. And my first business was born out of social media, really. So I have him to thank for it.
Give me a high five.
High five.
Okay, so now moving on to women in tech. It's something that we here at the Witty Chats About Show is very passionate about. You know, it's the rising of women. It's not just empowering, but listening to women. And I think that as women in the industry, we need to celebrate one another. And I think that this is absolutely a wonderful opportunity to break into the conversation. What is your view on women in tech? And do you think that it's only coding, or do you agree with me that women in tech is all about, various roles that you play within the tech environment?
Yeah, I think like with any generally male-dominated industry, I think we need to embrace what men bring to the table, and I think we need to embrace what women are able to bring to the table. And in that sense, it would be our creativity, our softness, our intuition, which relates into user experience and relates into UX design and that sort of thing. So I think it's not necessarily just about the technology and being able to build the technology, although that's a truly awesome skill in itself. But it's how you interpret that from a marketing perspective and how you market the technology itself and how you include that into the brand cycle, how the user experience looks, what the front end design looks. All of these things women are really good at because they have that let's call it intuition or that softness about them, which I think when you bring that to a technology environment, it's very valuable.
And also just further to that point is like I definitely believe that we as women can bring something different and a flair, and it's all about collaboration. I think collaboration is the new multiplication. Sorry guys, sorry. Okay, but further to that point is we've obviously reached a point where there is a lot of controversy in the market about women in tech and men in tech, and what are your views on that?
I don't really see the point, to be honest, in terms of the controversy. I think women find ourselves, and this is thanks to our great-grandmothers and our grandmothers and our mothers who fought for us to have equal rights and all that sort of thing. We now have the perfect choice. Do we want to be at home and create an awesome family and be a great support structure for our family, or do we want to have a career? I don't think it's necessarily about just because I'm female, I can't go into this male-dominated career or whatever. If you're good at what you do, don't worry about what the men are doing. Just be fantastic at what you do.
100%.
And you'll be accepted like everybody else.
What advice would you give to women that specifically would like to go into tech?
So number one, which I think we've touched on, is embrace your womanness. Apply your intuition, your creativity, and your softness to user experience and customer experience. The second thing I would say, don't be afraid to try. Failure in this game, like I said, is inevitable because not all tech works. Some of it works fantastically, but the crazier your idea, the more reason to give it your all. So don't give up. And network. Women are great networkers, and we're born to network, whether we're networking on the playground with other moms or whether we're networking in a boardroom with other business people.
That's how we met.
Exactly.
7 years ago, and look at us now.
Exactly. So work your network. One day you'll need that brand or that investor to know you and to trust you. So get to know people and use your womanly skill in that sense. And do research. Women have great researching abilities. So spend time behind your laptop. Do desktop studies. Understand your demographic, your target market, your products, and put your efforts into research. And then find balance. I think this is an important one, and this probably goes across all industries. But as women, we need to be a lot of things to a lot of people. We're daughters, we're wives, we're friends, we're moms. So we need to make time for all of that, as well as your career. It'll keep you sane.
Yeah, awesome.
That's great feedback, and great tips for you women out there that want to make a career out of tech. So very quickly, what's next for IMDM? What are you guys up to?
Sure. So IMDM, as you said, is an innovations company where we're always looking at new technology to bring into the marketing cycle. I think the latest coming out of our shop really is mixed reality.
Ooh.
Yay.
Which, everybody looks at me some days like they've just learnt about virtual and augmented reality. What's mixed reality now? So I think that's the next great thing which we're launching.
Yeah, what is it?
It's the perfect mix between the two. So where augmented reality is a one-dimensional experience almost with your mobile device, and virtual reality is a fully immersive experience with the headgear on. Mixed reality is a bit of both. You still have a headgear on, but if the three of us all had a headgear on now, we'd still use our mobile phone and we would be able to see each other and see the world around us. But let's say a dolphin would come out of the water between us and jump over your head.
Wow.
So there's an element of...
Not Louboutin shoes.
Louboutin shoes.
You and your shoes.
All of it is possible. But mixed reality, basically, instead of that one-on-one virtual reality experience, we now have a multi-user experience. So we're launching that in October at the Aquarium in Cape Town, which is going to be exciting.
Well
Awesome.
done.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
You must be so excited.
We are, I must say. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's reactions. And then the next other big thing is our new brand, Hollow Mist. And Hollow Mist are holograms for the mass market. Meaning that holograms have always been incredibly expensive to do, and you need all kinds of fancy lasers and pyramids and lighting and things. Whereas this is a device which we've created, which you just plug and play. We can sit in our remote location with our team in Centurion, for example, and they can upload a 3D animation to your device, which is plugged into your retail store, wherever you may be. And the most beautiful hologram emerges, which is really just a 3D animation, which is... projected in a clever way, but it looks like a hologram, it behaves like a hologram. You can see it as much during the day as you can during the evening. And I think what I'm excited about is, number one, the tech is cool, but number two, it's a new media platform. So you could put up new specials every day. You could sell advertising on your hologram, on your Hollow Mist device. So I think I'm really excited about that, and that's just launched.
So what do people do if they want to get hold of you? Where could they contact you?
Probably easiest would be our website, www.imdm. Both M's are for mother, being woman. imdm.mobi, M-O-B-I.
Fabulous. And maybe if you didn't get that, you can just hashtag witty on
Yes.
Twitter. Now, over to game time.
Oh,
so
dear.
Jess
I've
is
been
going to do the
waiting for
30-second game, and she's so excited.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So, Jess, you can take it home.
Yeah, it's just so if for everyone listening, we do have a 30-second little timer here. So
Very nerve-wracking.
I've been waiting for this forever. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. Right, so we know that you're a superwoman, okay? Then we've talked about the new tech that you're bringing through and launching. But what tech do you wish actually that now existed that doesn't already?
Oh, wow, that's a difficult one. If I had that answer, I would have launched it.
The time is going! Oh no, the time is running out already! Okay, no, wait.
Uber for flying cars.
Okay, cool. What job would you be terrible at?
Construction worker.
Okay, true love or $5 million?
True love.
Okay, what's the biggest screw up you've ever made in your kitchen?
I boiled oil while I was pregnant.
Oh my God, that is insane.
Oh no. Okay, if you could, would you rather teleport or read minds?
Read minds.
Read minds. Cool. Would you rather live without the internet or your toothbrush?
My toothbrush.
And what do you think would break?
We had a different answer for that one there. Okay.
Can't live without the internet, you know.
What do you think would actually break the internet?
Not
Social
Kim
justice.
Social justice. There you go.
Brilliant. And then finally, what would you share with us? What would your perfect Saturday look like?
Lying on a couch with my children, reading a book and drinking wine.
Awesome. Yay! First game. Well done.
Awesome. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us. It was really amazing to have you here, Daniella.
Thank
You
you so
are
much. It
such
was
an
so much
awesome
fun.
inspiration to us. And the key takeaways is obviously, we need to go out there and pursue our careers and be passionate and want to make a difference and do as much as we possibly can to make it happen.
Never give up.
Never give up.
That's
Absolutely.
And network.
And
Network, definitely. Like mingle. From the Witty Chatterbots, this is Carmen Murray and Jessica McIntyre. Join us next week, Tuesday at 10 o'clock. We have a very exciting guest joining us next week, and we're going to unpack the social landscape conference that was happening yesterday and today, and giving you some valuable feedback on what's coming for 2018.
Awesome, because Dan started with social media.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Connect the dots. Thank you very much, guys.
thanks.
Ciao
guys.
for now.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
brandlive.co.za. Guess who got brands talking? brandlive.co.za.